Newsflash, everyone, volcanic soils can make exceptional wines. If you didn't know, now you know. You heard it here first from Johnny Vino. Today, we are going to go just east of Verona into limestone hills that have combined with an incredible matrix of mineral-rich soils. And if you haven't caught on already, yes, we are talking about Soave. But our adventure does not end there. We are going to go a little bit farther east, and we are going to discover the absolutely incredible world of bubbles from the Monti Lessini. Yes, the Lessini Mountains, and there we're going to be talking about Durello. So I think you're going to want to stick around for this one because it is the beginning of something special. Stay tuned. As we always do, let's get the names out of the way. As I said before, I'm Johnny Vino, but today we are going to be talking about Durello. Yes, that ends with an O, and that is the wine. Now, there is Durella, which is the grape, and that ends with an A. See, these Italians, they're tricky with their masculine and feminine, so you got to be careful yourself too. See, this ancient indigenous grape is something special. Why? Well, it naturally has all of the characteristics to make a world-class Metodo Classico bubble. Yes, Metodo Classico is the same way that bubbles are made in champagne, where that second fermentation goes on inside the bottle. But we're not going to go too into that right now. But you don't take my word for it, that's fine. Saves more for us, and to be honest, I'm pretty happy about that. So here in the Lessini Mountains, there's a volcanic soil, which by the way, only makes up 1% of the entire Earth's surface. And I like to think that this soil in some way charges the grape. It gives it a little bit of an extra push. And really, this grape has an acidity level that is second to very, very few. Now, on top of that, this soil doesn't just give, but it also helps in terms of water retention. See, that porous land absorbs some of that water and then lets go of it, releases it when the plant needs it the most. That's obviously extremely important when we talk about droughts. But beyond that, this minerality also gives the plants strength. What do I mean? Well, even like us, when we are fully nourished and we have all of the proper things, our body functions well and we even stay healthier. Plants have an immune system too, and that system needs to be nurtured, and this soil does that naturally. There is also the name, which is pretty interesting. Now, there's been multiple different names over history, but all of them come back to one factor, which is toughness. Yes, dura means tough, hard. And what we're talking about here is actually the grape skin. Now, this skin is also really, really interesting because it has tannins. Exactly, a white grape that has tannins. Again, put that into the conversation of a Metodo Classico bubble, and we're talking about something that is absolutely unique. Today, I'm going to be tasting this 2015 Durello Lessini from Dalmaso. I'm extremely excited. Not only do I love this bottle because a personal choice in my life has always been all gold everything, but the fact that this is also a pas dosé, which means that there was no sugar added. So if there's any sweetness to this, all of the sugar inside of this wine is completely natural and comes from the grapes itself. Another thing, we're talking about 2015, and this was degorged in 2019. So we're talking at least 4 years, 48 months on its lees, and that means that there's going to be an incredible evolution of flavor in this bottle. Now, the Dalmaso family knows a thing or two about winemaking. They've kind of been doing it since the late 1800s, and now it is completely, as it always been, a family affair. Their cellar is absolutely incredible. Their website as well. I highly encourage you guys to go and check them out because even though we haven't been able to get out there ourselves, barring this, because of these certain circumstances, I believe that this is going to be one that we're definitely going to visit. I don't know if y'all can see, but there are beads running in this bottle already that really, really get me excited. And even from here, you can start to get some of those aromas from those 48 months. You're getting that evolution of the fruit. You're getting a little bit of that brioche, but still an incredible citrus vein already from the bottle. That's absurd. Wow. I almost want to sit here and almost just enjoy what is coming out of this glass. I haven't even, this is as close as I've been to it. Whoo! Wow. Even though we're getting all of these really evolved, matured, it almost seems like slightly candied citrus notes, and that yeastiness coming together. There's still something very mineral about this wine, even on the nose, which I'm really excited about to see what's gonna happen. I also expect this wine, again, Pas d'Oseille, we're talking about really bright acidity, not too much sugar. This is gonna be strong. I love the Italian phrase. It's like this is like a laser. It just cuts right through you. Wow. Yes, 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 yes. I vote yes. You should too. A lot of times you come in contact with Pas d'Oseilles that that almost push the limit a little bit, which is cool. I love winemakers who do that, but this right here is a very approachable Pas d'Oseille. It gives you a wonderful mouthfeel. I was talking about that laser before. It's laser-ish, but it's not uncomfortable. There's still, again, this is involving your entire palate. The perlage, the bubbles, again, thanks to Italesse for this sparkle glass, we're seeing how consistent and constant these bubbles are. And again, they just come beaded up, like a single file line. Absolutely spectacular. That, my friends, is to be enjoyed. Again, here we're talking about Durello. The grape is Durella, but I think the thing here is this is a grape variety and a style of winemaking using the metodo classico that really I'll say it. It deserves more attention. This is, in my opinion, a game changer when it comes to Italian metodo classicos. This is using an indigenous and autochthonous variety, and that is something special in and of itself. But more importantly, above and beyond everything else, the final product here, for me personally, I find it incredible. Not too many people know about these wines, and I think that's unfortunate. I have a feeling, though, that that is absolutely going to change. So as I continue to sip this, we are going to take the train a little bit back west, and we're going to stop off in Soave. So, as we've said before, as it often is, a lot of wines in Italy are very strongly linked to a geographical area. Soave is the name of a picturesque, beautiful little town just about 30 minutes east of Verona. If you ever have the chance to go, I promise you, you will probably fall in love. There's an incredible castle right there in the historic center. The people there are absolutely lovely. There's almost just not too much not to like. So if you're one of those people who goes to a place, falls in love, and says they don't want to leave, I might be careful going to Soave because you just might find yourself there for a real long time. So like some of the other wines we've talked about recently, Soave is not the name of the grape. No, take out your notepads, that goes to Garganiga. Garganiga is the name of the grape that must be at least 70% of the wine for Soave. Now that other 30%, that can be Trebbiano di Soave, Chardonnay, or Pinot Bianco. Garganiga is the star of the show. To say that Garganiga is an ancient grape would be a cold, hard fact, my friends. DNA analysis is still being confirmed, but it is all pointing to the fact that Garganiga is actually one of the parent grapes of many other autochthonous varieties here in Italy. Let me also just say that these grapes are absolutely beautiful. Now, the entire landscape of Soave will take your breath away. And we'll get to that in a little bit, but these grapes especially. And what I mean is these grapes actually, when they're ripening and when they're maturing, they take on this amber goldish hue that when the light hits them, it really almost seems like a pity to pick. But then once you taste the wine, you say, go ahead guys, go and pick them from next year. I'll be back at the exact same time because they are something very, very special. And in addition to being special, they also have a lot of energy. They got a lot of vigor. And what we mean by that is they produce a lot. So one of the hardest things to do for the producers is to actually, in some way, tame the actual plant. See, there's a lot of vegetation that comes and even a higher number of grape bunches. And so that is actually the hardest part for these producers, to make sure that they're keeping the right amount of foliage and also the right number of bunches to go and create the right amount of complexity inside each and every one of these grapes. There's another reason why the Soave landscape is absolutely breathtaking, and that has to do with the way that the vines are trained. See, they are using a pergola. Yeah, before we thought pergolas were the thing that we put on our back patios and kind of kept the sun out of our eyes for a little bit. Yeah, well, in some way, I guess everything comes back to wine. That's at least how I like to look at it. And any good thing probably came from wine too. Now, this system, beyond creating an absolutely breathtaking landscape, actually has a very unique function. Now, we could use logic and try and think, and that's what I did. And I thought, okay, maybe it's to create better shade for the grapes so they don't get burnt. Now, that might be true. But actually, what I learned was it actually kept the grapes far enough away from the ground to where when a fog or a frost came in, it didn't actually freeze the grapes, because you might still get some of those early spring, really, really cold mornings, cold late nights, and that would cause a lot of damage and problems for the grapes. But by distancing it from the actual ground, you're helping maintain its health and probably making sure that it doesn't freeze. But let's get back to the present, shall we? See, there's been amazing work going on in this area for over 2,000 years. Okay, I'm already in the past, but I'm just going to stay here for a second. Yes, I said 2,000 years. We're in 2020, and for almost 2,000 years, the wines in this region have been revered by everybody from Virgil, the Roman poet, not the designer, and also Augustus, the Roman emperor. So just understand that this area has been rich of history for so long and recognized as one of the premier winemaking regions here in Italy. And for that reason alone, we should be paying more attention to it. And in fact, that's exactly what they've done. We're talking about a work of going in and understanding the crus. Yes, where things are done differently, how the grapes change, how the final product of the wine changes as well. This is an extensive work, a work that takes years and decades and really is a lifetime work for so many people. Well, now in Soave, since last year, 2019, they can proudly announce that they are home to 33 different crus. Yes, let's give them a round of applause. Much well deserved, because this area, beyond the 33, is divided into some really, really unique areas, and identifying those not only helps the producer communicate better his product, but also us, the consumer, so we understand better what we're getting. Now, I always like to say, and I think it is very, very important, that we are only scratching the surface here. Now, slowly but surely, I hope to be digging a little deeper with you guys, but this is by far, in no way, shape, or form, the end-all be-all in terms of talking about all of the richness and the history and the culture of Soave. We just talked about there being 33 different crus. We can simplify that just a little bit for the moment and talk about 4 different subsets of soil. So we have the limestone plains, then we also have the limestone hills, we have the volcanic plains, and then we have the volcanic hills. Each one of these is going to have different things that incorporate this term terroir. So we talk about the microclimate, we talk about precipitation, we talk about obviously the land itself. All of these things come together and create this term terroir. And each one of these is going to impart something different onto this grape. See, when we stay in these limestone plains and hills, we're going to be getting a little bit more of fruit and aromatic complexity. So we'll be talking about some stronger citrus notes, some floral notes, and also a little bit of exotic fruit. All of that matured, all of that evolved, because also these grapes can oftentimes be harvested as late as October. So there's a lot of complexity that's going on inside of these grapes as well. Now, when we move to a little bit farther east and we get into the volcanic soil, still we're talking about a very balanced wine, but a wine that is going to have a little bit more minerality and a little bit more complexity, especially on the palate. The limestone really brings out the mature stone and exotic fruits and really keeps things balanced, but also has an incredible aromatic complexity. While the volcanic soil is going to really unleash a little bit more of that minerality, but at the same time, we're going to be getting a little bit more zing of acidity, and that's going to also set off some different things when we talk about some of the fruit and citrus notes that come out. Today, we're going to be tasting a wine from Brognoligo. Now, Brognoligo is very, very special because it is almost a historic area that deserves something by itself. And what I mean is there are vines there that actually date back over 100 years. That is something very, very unique and that not every area can boast. On top of that, we're also going to be tasting wines that come from Castellara, which is just a little bit farther north, a touch west. And this is a unique area because it basically is a volcanic cone. And because of that, we get to note something very interesting on this bottle, where it says heroic viticulture. Heroic viticulture is basically a statement for those who do work in the vines that really makes them heroes. And what I mean by that is, and for people, especially in a moment like this, where we understand heroes to be certain people and of certain professions, which is absolutely true. These people are heroes because they are the keepers of tradition, heritage, and culture. Without them, a piece of living history would disappear, and that is something that we just can't have. And for them to do that, that just means blood, sweat, and tears, and probably even breaking their back as they're working through these vines. So today specifically, we're going to be tasting Le Battistelle. This is a family-owned business that started in 2002. And by started, I mean by bottling their own wines. Before, they were definitely cultivating and harvesting grapes, but they were selling it to a co-op in the area. They've decided to do this on their own, which I highly commend them for, and I'm extremely happy that they do, because these wines are absolutely exceptional. Here we are, and I don't think that you could mistake this bottle of wine anywhere else in the world. This is one of my favorite labels, and I actually think it's one of the most recognizable labels. And you already start to get an idea of how steep these hills are just from the label itself. And there are these incredible stone walls around these vines that are made of volcanic soil, volcanic rock themselves, that this family has put into place. And they maintain them, and that, my friends, is what you call hard work. And thanks to our good friends at Corvin, I don't actually have to open this entire bottle, and I can just get a taste and enjoy it with you guys. This right here, when we were talking about those 4 areas of Soave, this absolutely lands in the volcanic hills. Castellara, I invite you to Google it. When you do, get back to me, send me another comment, send me another message, because I don't think you will forget that image. It really is. It just looks like somebody just pulled it right up and just let it rest. This hill is incredible. I really don't think I've ever seen anything like it. So this wine right here, like I said, volcanic soils. So we're expecting a lot of minerality. We're expecting some complexity. There's another little thing about Garganica and Soave, tends to be almost an almondy bitter note at the end. A bitter note that I actually and really do appreciate. Beautiful color. And that's that Soave nose. Here especially, we talked about those limestone soils maybe giving it a little bit more of a aromatic complexity. There's some beautiful aromatics here, but it is not, let's say, just jumping out of the glass. There is something a little bit tamed. You're still getting some some wonderful citrus notes to it, but again, that minerality is already coming out. That's it. That's it. I'm gonna go away now. Wow. This wine right here, for me, absolutely does it. This is a beautiful picture of what Soave is and can be. We're talking about a wine and vines that grow on volcanic soil, so that minerality is more than present, and that acidity balances it perfectly. And inside of all of that is intertwined with beautiful, beautiful citrus notes, a little bit of aromatic herbs, a little bit of white blossom floral notes. And in all of that is an incredible richness. That richness definitely has to do with the wine making, where for 6 to 8 months, there is a constant batonnage, where the fine lees, the fine remnants of the grapes and the pressing itself and of these yeasts get stirred up in a steel tank. Now, oftentimes this can also happen in wood, but that wood can also impart a stronger flavor. Here we're talking about an evolution and an extraction of flavor and richness, and that also translates into a beautiful viscosity in the glass. I love it on the nose, that sapidity, that mineral nature is there, and then also on the palate, you kind of get that touch of that little bit of bitterness, and those two things for me really, really pair well. It kind of brings this entire process full circle. Yep, this one, like I said, this is one of my favorites. Was super excited when Adriano brought it to me. I couldn't wait any longer to taste it. And like I said, I definitely think this is going to be a part of a couple meals here coming soon for me. A beautiful pairing for this is you get some, we're in the season of asparagus, get some great asparagus, put a fried egg on top, nice salt, even if you have it a little bit of truffle salt, and you are in business, my friends. Absolutely fantastic wine, absolutely fantastic territory, and all thanks, not all thanks, but in large part thanks to volcanic soils. Again, we're still studying them, we're still understanding them, not just us, Cantina Social. We're the last man on the totem pole, but the people who do this for a living and study these things and study the DNA of the plant and the vines are still trying to understand all its effects. And it's a process that, you know, I will be around, ready and willing to taste, just so, you know, everything's under control. So from me, Johnny Vino, to you, cheers. Until next time, make sure you guys go check out their website. I think it's ilsuave.com. One of the most well done websites from any consortium that I've ever seen. Incredible wealth of knowledge there. Go and check it out. And until next time, my friends, Johnny Vino says something, drinks something, and signs off.